Hello, I'm Kimberly, and welcome to the weekend edition of the Native News Update. It's Friday, July 13th, and many of the stories you hear here can be found at IndianCountryNews.com. And here's the news for the day from the Associated Press and other Native news sources. Senator Jim Webb of Virginia testified July 12th at a hearing of the Senate Committee on Indian Affairs in support of his legislation, Indian Tribes of Virginia's Federal Recognition Act of 2011. Webb's bill would grant federal recognition to 6 tribes of Virginia. Despite receiving committee approval in July of 2011, the bill has not yet received a floor vote. The 6 tribes have received state recognition as early as 1983 and have received strong bipartisan support from the Virginia General Assembly for federal recognition.
I understand the reluctance from Congress to grant any Native American tribe federal recognition through legislation rather than through the administrative process. However, I would like to emphasize my personal belief that this particular situation with respect to Virginia is historically unique. And I say that as someone who studied and wrote about this well before I entered into the Senate. The unique history of Virginia with respect to its Indian tribes and the harsh policies of the past have created a barrier for Virginia's Native American tribes to meet the criteria that we have been using in the administrative process. It is a fact that Virginia in the past had race laws which regulated the activity of Virginia Indians and laws that went so far as to eliminate an individual's identity as a Native American on many birth, death, and marriage certificates. The elimination of racial identity records had a harmful impact on Virginia's tribes when they began this process. In addition to this burden, 5 of the 6 courthouses that held the vast majority of the records that Virginia tribes would need to document their history were destroyed in the Civil War. And lastly, Virginia tribes, with respect to the treaties that you mentioned, Mr. Chairman, actually signed a treaty with England before our country was politically formed, and this predated the practice of most tribes that signed a treaty with the federal government, which have been relied on in the administrative process. And for these reasons, I strongly believe that recognition for these 6 Virginia tribes is justified based on principles of dignity and fairness and historical necessity. Moreover, given the current structure and the requirements of the BIA administrative process, it's really doubtful that our tribes could successfully complete the process. And so in conclusion, I would say this is an issue that has strong bipartisan support inside the Commonwealth of Virginia, at the state level and here at the federal level, and it's been in the works for a very long time, and I would respectfully ask the committee to work with our office in order to bring a legislation to the Senate floor. Thank you very much.
Those affected by the Federal Recognition Act include the Chickahominy Tribe, the Chickahominy Indian Tribe Eastern Division, the Upper Mattapony Tribe, the Rappahannock Tribe, the Mohican Indian Nation, and the Nyasamund Indian Tribe. The Minnesota Department of Natural Resources has finalized plans for the state's first ever wolf hunting season this fall and winter. The DNR will sell 6,000 wolf hunting permits, but will limit the number of animals that can be killed to 400. Hunting will take place in 3 zones in northern Minnesota, which will allow the DNR to manage the wolf season in cooperation with Native American bands that have treaties guaranteeing their off-reservation hunting rights, even though some of the state's largest bands have already announced their opposition to hunting wolves. Minnesota's wolf season will begin in November and run through the end of January, or until hunters and trappers reach the 400 animal limit. Oklahoma Governor Mally Fallon has hired Jacque Secondine Hensley as a member of the Kaw Nation as her Native American liaison. Hensley has a bachelor's degree in education from Oklahoma State University and a master's degree in counseling and psychology from the University of Tulsa. She is a special agent for the Department of Defense, where she investigates fraud in military contracts and health care. Hensley also has served as a special agent for the Bureau of Indian Affairs and was an adjunct professor at the Indian Police Academy in New Mexico. The Sunak tribe of the Kodiak Island has unveiled a plan to take over surplus Coast Guard land. Board member Ivor Mulliton says the tribe does not own land and is excited about restoring traditional food gathering as well as exploring opportunities for economic development. Mulliton says the land transfer would be a way to restore things to the way they were before the 1940s and the arrival of the military on Kodiak Island. The plan starts with obtaining an agreement with Coast Guard that allows negotiations to begin. The two groups would then decide which parts of the 23,000-acre Coast Guard complex are surplus and could be transferred to the tribe. Singer-songwriter Buffy Sainte-Marie, who received an Academy Award, Oscar, and Golden Globe Award for the song Up Where We Belong, is among the 10 people who received honorary degrees this year from the University of British Columbia.
By authority of the Senate of this university, I confer upon you, Buffy Sainte-Marie, the title and degree Doctor of Letters, honoris causa.
It now gives me great pleasure to ask Dr. Sainte-Marie to say a few words.
Thank you. Thank you, everybody. I thank the Creator for this day that brings good people together for such good reasons, every one of you. And I thank the Creator for the hospitality of the traditional Musqueam people who invite us all today to share in this beauty. I congratulate all our graduates, your families, and your friends who are here and those who can't be with us today. I've been coming to Vancouver since the 1960s for personal visits and visits with Aboriginal communities and individuals over many years who have welcomed me and shared with me, and for concerts, both solo and with my band, and to work with the University of British Columbia. And I'm very, very proud to be your longtime friend. I thank you for this great honor. I have a big smile on my face today because today you have adopted me into your family. Thank you. To those of you who are receiving degrees today, I'm here to thank you too, especially, for every time you got up out of that bed early and came to class. Investing your time and your energy, which is precious, and even more precious, your hope in the future. It takes work sometimes. And as you have expanded your personal knowledge base, so the university expands too, and the city, and the province, and the country, and the world itself. This is no small thing that you're doing, that you have accomplished. Your work so far and your graduation is important, and it touches a lot of other people that you know and will meet throughout your life. You guys are on a path to becoming lifelong learners if that's what you want. And let me tell you, that gives a beautiful life. To keep on learning, you don't just stop. Every moment, every day, you keep on learning something. That's how the future happens. We're here to congratulate you and to celebrate both your achievement and the commencement, the beginning of the rest of your life. I would like to offer you part of a little song that I wrote at my piano one day. The darn thing went out and won me an Academy Award. I didn't even have to sing it. With many thanks to Joe Cocker and Jennifer Warrens. And I offer it to your teachers, to the university, to your city, to our country, but most of all, to you and to the people who have supported you through these years. Carry it on. Who knows what tomorrow brings? In a world few hearts survive, all I know is the way I feel. If it's real, keep it alive. The road is long, there are mountains on the way, and we get to climb a step every day. Love, lift us up where we belong, where the eagles cry on a mountain high. Love, lift us up where we belong, far from the worlds we know, up where the clear winds blow. Kichimigwech. Thank you. Congratulations.
To watch the complete ceremony with Buffy, you can go to youtube.com/UBC ceremonies. And to catch up on all that Buffy continues to do, you can check out her website at creative-native.com. First Nations Development Institute has awarded 10 grants totaling $300,000 through its Native Agriculture and Food Systems Initiative. The grants were made possible through the support of the Walmart Foundation. The grants will help develop or expand local controlled and locally based food systems in numerous Native American communities while addressing the critical issues of food security, family economic security, and health and nutrition, along with promoting American Indian business entrepreneurship. For a list of grantees, you can check out firstnations.org. On July 16th, First Nation chiefs, veterans, elders, and youth will lead in an honor procession from Front Street East to historic Fort York in Toronto, Ontario, to commemorate the contribution of more than 10,000 First Nations who fought as British allies in the War of 1812. The procession runs from 1:45 p.m. to 3:30 p.m. with a brief stop at the intersection of Lower Jarvis and Front Street to unveil a commemorative street sign to honor their fallen warriors, followed by an honor song. To learn more about the procession, you can go to ofifc.org. And every year, two-time Grammy-nominated, eight-time NAMI winner Jana gives back to her Native community by helping others believe in themselves and their ability to achieve their goals. The Jana's Kid Foundation offers 3 different scholarships in the fields of academic, arts, and athletics to deserving American Indian and Aboriginal youth. The deadline for this year's scholarship applications is July 31st. Applications can be downloaded from janaskids.org. And that's another roundup of news from Indian Country on this edition of the Native News Update. I'd like to thank you for joining me, and have a grand day.